Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today I have a great one for you. I'm going to be showing you 4 delicious recipes for game night. I know there's a big game coming up this weekend. Also, these would be just great snacks if you have a party, a get together. These are really easy. They're super quick to make and they're very budget friendly and they're crowd pleasers. Everybody is going to love them. So we're going to start off with one of my very favorites, and this is the Chili's Copycat Chili Cheese Queso. Y'all, if you've ever been to Chili's, this is stuff, oh my gosh, it's so good. And this recipe is so close to that. You are going to need a big block of Velveeta, that's the 32 ouncer, some Hormel chili, this is the no beans. You're going to need 2 cans of that. You're also going to need 2 cups of whole milk. You could use whatever milk you want, but makes it really creamy. 3 limes. The seasonings are chili powder, paprika, and cumin. And then you could also use cayenne, but I didn't have any cayenne, so I'm just using a few dashes of hot sauce. And then this is going to cook in the crock pot. So the first thing we're going to do is spray the crock pot and cut up all of the Velveeta into small cubes. The smaller you cut it up, the quicker it's going to melt. So you know, I cut it up pretty small to get it all in the slow cooker. Dump in the chili. Make sure you get every last bit of that. And then you're going to squeeze in the lime juice. I just ended up doing 2 of the limes because these limes were so juicy. We're going to add 3 tablespoons of chili powder, 2 tablespoons of paprika. This is very well seasoned. Y'all will love this recipe. And then we're also going to add 2 tablespoons of cumin. And then I just do the hot sauce to taste. This came out so slow, but we like things spicy, so I did a little more. You could do less if you want. We're gonna pour in all of the milk. Make sure that we stir it really, really good because we don't want anything, to stick to the sides. We want everything well combined. This doesn't look very appetizing right now, but I promise you it's so good. An hour on high, but you're going to check it after 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, mine still wasn't quite melted all the way through, but just be patient with it. I actually cooked this a little bit longer than an hour, but you could do it on low for longer if you want. This was so good. Serve it with some chips. It tastes so close to the Chili's queso. It's so good. You know the one they bring in the little skillet that costs like $8? You can make a huge batch of it to feed a crowd and everybody will love it. Moving on, we're going to make some baked Hawaiian rolls. So good. This one is one everybody always asks me for the recipe. I'm using turkey, but you could use any kind of lunch meat, and I'm also using Colby Jack. You could use any type of cheese. I have a stick of butter melted. I've used less butter and it's turned out fine, so do you. You're gonna need some Dijon mustard, some Worcestershire sauce. Nobody never knows how to say that. Salt and pepper to taste. Some everything but the bagel seasoning. I love that seasoning. It's so good. Pretty much anywhere has that now, and then some onion powder. So that's all the ingredients. Of course, the Hawaiian rolls. This recipe is so decadent, but it's so simple to make. So let me show you. We're going to start out by cutting the top off of the rolls very, very carefully. You want to cut them in half. So try to keep the top all together. Mine was not that even, but don't stress about it. You're going to top it with your lunch meat. Like I said, I used turkey, but you could use ham. I think the original recipe uses ham. I layered it. You could layer it as thick as you want. I got a nice layer down, and then I topped it with some of the Colby Jack cheese. Again, you could use pepper jacks, cheddar, Swiss, anything you want. And I'm going to mix up my sauce. So to the butter, I add a tablespoon of Dijon, a sprinkle of onion powder. Use as much as you want. And then we're going to use some salt and pepper to taste. If you have salted butter, I would just skip the salt. We're going to add some everything bagel seasoning to taste. I just added a few shakes of that. And then 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. And don't skip that. It adds a really nice flavor to it. We're going to whisk it all together and make sure it's very well combined. And we're going to put the top back on our sandwiches. And then we're going to take this mixture and pour it all over those rolls. I know it seems weird, but when these bake, it bakes in. It is so good. So I make sure I get all of that off, and then I use a little pastry brush and just brush the tops to make sure everything is well combined and even. Top it with a little bit more everything bagel seasoning. This is going to sit for a couple minutes. I went ahead and put the foil on. You need to let it sit for 5 or 10 minutes before you put it in the oven. Bakes at 350 for 20 minutes, and then you take the foil off and it bakes another 2 to 3 minutes. I'll leave all the instructions or a link to the recipe down below. Once they come out of the oven, I take a serrated a serrated bread knife, and I very carefully cut them into little sliders, being very careful. These were super fresh Hawaiian buns, so I kind of struggled, but they came out perfect. There's just something about these, y'all. You have to make them. They're always a crowd pleaser. They're always gone whenever I take them anywhere. And now one of my personal favorites, buffalo chicken dip. So good. Everybody has a different way they do it. This is how I do it. I've got some shredded chicken. I've got a block of cream cheese. These blue cheese crumbles are optional, but I really like the flavor that it gives it. I am using Frank's Red Hot buffalo sauce. You can use whatever kind you like. And then some ranch dressing. It doesn't have to be the fancy kind. I find the Walmart one works fine. And then you're going to need a couple cups of cheese. I'm using a little bit of white cheddar and a little bit of Monterey Jack. And then you're going to need a little baking pan. So I already have the cream cheese softened in a bowl, and to that I'm adding 2 cups of chicken. Mine was still a little bit frozen, so I'm just kind of breaking it apart, making sure it's all nicely shredded. 2 cups of chicken with the cream cheese in a bowl. We're going to add a cup of cheese. Like I said, I'm doing white cheddar mixed with Monterey Jack. That's just what I had on hand. You could use whatever kind you like. We're adding a cup of buffalo sauce to that. So good, you guys. This one is so good. And then a cup of ranch dressing. It's basically 2 cups, 1 cup, 1 cup. It's really easy to remember. 1, 1, 1, and 2. I will leave, of course, the recipe link down below. Mix that all together. I added a little extra chicken. I just felt like it needed it. And then we're going to pour it into a 8x8 pan that is greased, making sure to kind of even it out inside the pan. We're going to top it with a little bit more cheese, as much as I did maybe like half of a cup, as much as you want though. And then this is optional, but I sprinkled a little bit of blue cheese crumbles on top. Totally don't have to do that. You're going to bake it at 350 for about 30 minutes until it's nice and bubbly and delicious. And oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite things. It's not super spicy because all of that other stuff really mellows it out. So good. I like to serve it with some chips or crackers. Also, a really good low carb option is to serve it with some veggies. Great keto recipe right there. And I like it with the veggies too. But look how delicious and like hearty this is. So good. You guys, highly, highly recommend this one. Next up, and last but not least, is the pepperoni pizza rolls. Super easy recipe. So we're going to need some crescent rolls. I'm using the buttery flavored ones. And then we're going to need some string cheese, some pepperoni, some pizza sauce, Italian seasoning and garlic powder, and also an egg for an egg wash. So really easy and inexpensive recipe right here. We're going to take our cheese sticks and we're going to unwrap them, and then we are going to cut them in half. So this is going to make 8 rolls. You could always double or triple this recipe to fit your size of a party. We're going to take one of the crescent rolls, put a mozzarella cheese stick in the widest part, layer some pepperoni next to it. I like to do 3 pieces, and then we're just going to roll it up, starting with the biggest end, rolling it towards the smallest end. Just like that, we're going to put it on a cookie sheet lined with parchment paper. And I'm just going to speed this up so you guys can see me making the other ones. I made half pepperoni, and then I did half with just plain cheese, just because some of us don't like pepperoni. And so I figured they could just eat the cheese ones, but you could do what's best for your family. You could put other toppings in here. I think putting like buffalo chicken in here would be really good. And then you just take an egg wash, just some beaten egg, and I spread it on top of each one. This makes it very, very golden brown, so don't skip this. Topped it with a little bit of garlic powder and a little bit of Italian seasoning. bake them at 375 for about 15 minutes, and this is what they looked like, you guys. Look at these. They were so good. It's so cheesy. They came out delicious. The cheese is oozing out a little bit, but that's okay. Serve it with some pizza sauce on the side to dip, but I had to show you guys the cheese pull. Look how good that looks. So delicious. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video and you liked seeing some of these ideas. Let me know in the comments, which one do you think you want to try? Which one looks the best? Definitely subscribe if you are new. Leave me a comment and like the video, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye everybody.